The series of interviews that we've been bringing you around the election manifestos of the various political parties. Tonight, our political editor, Mzwandile Mbeje, in conversation with the leader of the Good Party, Patricia de Lille. And he's in Cape Town for us. Over to you, Mzwa.
Thank you very much, Francis, and a very good evening to our viewers and, of course, the viewers of Full View. Again, tonight is another installment of our conversation with one of the leaders represented in Parliament. This time around, interestingly, the only woman who's leading the party, obviously, sadly, after the passing on of the NFP leader, Mam Kamakwaza Msibi. And of course, she's here with us tonight to speak about her party's intentions on this local government election and another general state of politics. She's been in it for a very long time. Welcome to SABC, Ma. This is an interesting one for you because you've been the mayor before. You are the national leader now, and clearly you know something about local government.
Yes.
Perhaps the quick question, why should a South African vote for a party that has not been represented in the local municipality before? So basically, it's a closed book. So why should they be convinced to vote for a closed book? I would say it's a closed book because it's only represented in the National Parliament for now.
Yes, I think you've also answered the question because the mood on the ground is that people are very sick and tired of the old political parties and that they are looking for something fresh. They are looking for an alternative. And certainly we can offer that alternative. Because even though we've got lots of problems in our country, it also just means that there's a lot that can be fixed. And that is why, as Good, we have come forward with a plan as to how to fix local government. And local government is not really about politics. You know, the problems of our people at local government knows no political affiliation. If you don't have water, sanitation, electricity, you are landless, you are homeless. And that's why it's so important that at local government level, we need to rise above our political differences and look at the bread and butter issues. And that's exactly what Good is all about.
There's something you said which was very interesting. You said people are looking for new parties.
Yes.
Led by old leaders. You've been in the game for long.
Who's the old leader?
Not necessarily in the age sense, but you've been around. People know you for a long time.
That's my track record. People know my track record in this country. So to me, it's about people are looking for choices. You know, election is a contestation of ideas.
Yes.
And it is about putting your ideas forward. And I think as whoever is the critique or the analyst and all of that, they should respect the choice that people will make because they will do the sifting. So yes, we are a new political party, but certainly we've got a lot of experience in local government, and that is what we bring to the table.
Do I get a sense that, I think I've been listening to you and of course heard you present your manifesto. Do I get a sense that you perhaps, particularly if I just localize it to Cape Town, have some unfinished business that you want to deal with here in Cape Town?
Oh, most definitely, a lot of unfinished business, but you know, what is very close to my heart is that we've done very little in Cape Town to deal with the apartheid spatial planning. I'm still very unhappy that most of my people are outside of the city. And I'm very unhappy because I attempted to integrate the city and bring people closer to the city. And in 2017, I released 14 parcels of land for that purpose of integrating the city. And that, of course, was the beginning of the fallout with the Blue Liars. And today, they have stopped all of those projects. And, you know, we need to get back in there and put pressure that those projects must be started again so that we bring people closer to work.
But what about the charge, Minister, that you were actually favoring those closer to you? And in fact, I think one business person went as far as to say you solicited a 5 million rand bribe.
What rubbish. What rubbish. Maybe you didn't see the end of the story. I have won 4 court cases in the High Court here in Cape Town.
Yeah.
The Blue Lions had to pay now almost R1 million because they lost every court case. That was an attempt to smear my name. That person who made that allegation was paid by the DA to make it. That person was a lawyer before, he's been struck off the roll before. A real bad, sneaky character. No, I've won all of those cases. All of those cases. I have my integrity is intact. I will fight corruption wherever it rears its ugly head. And that's my history in this country. I don't stand for corruption.
Yeah, I get that. And I think you are correct, because even the issue where you had been accused of the upgrades at your house, I think
Yes,
the Auditor
yes.
General, I think, dismissed that. I think.
But you see, they were trying to paint a picture that I'm a corrupt person because they were trying to hide the real reason. The real reason was really because I wanted to integrate the city. And some of the donors and the funders of the party were not happy with that. And to me, it was a matter of spatial justice, because people are being forcibly removed out of the previously white areas to the Group Areas Act. And, you know, we've never really had proper restitution to bring people back to the city. I mean, look at District 6 today. So that was my main fallout with them.
When did you realize that perhaps you had collaborated with people who didn't really share the same view in terms of moving this country or even the city forward?
You know, in the first 5 years, from 2011 up to 2016, I changed the face of the city, because the principles then that they stood for was redress, reconciliation, diversity, and delivery. I could live with that. I had about 40 redress projects in the city. I was out there in the community all the time. People, that's where the name Auntie Pat came from. They never called me mayor, and I didn't mind, and I could just work with people. So then I stood for elections again in 2016 and got 67% of the vote. So, I mean, there was a reward by the people of Cape Town for what I've been doing for the past 5 years. And in fact, it was the highest in the country. I challenge anyone to beat this record now, 2021.
Well, clearly you say the DA was out to get you because of the policies you were pursuing.
Yeah.
Let's go back perhaps to you before joining the DA.
So let's go forward. The country needs to know what we're going to do forward. I mean,
we'll certainly go forward.
Yeah.
But in order for us to know where we're going, we need to know where we're coming from.
Where we're coming from, exactly.
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
They had charged you with misconduct at the DA and some sort of criminality, but obviously it came to naught. Your own independent Democrats at some point, you were accused of undemocratic manner by some of your comrades. So looking at what the DA did and some of your comrades had done to you, so how do you reconcile those?
You know what, I mean, I've never heard people referring to Patricia de Lille without putting some adjective in front. Fiery, feisty, whatever. Dictator. I'm used to that. That's why I'm laughing it off. You know what? I'm not a dictator. I'm a disciplinarian. That's how I was brought up. Your time is your time. If you said I must be here by 5:30, I came at 5:20 this afternoon.
Oh,
it's
sure.
about discipline. And if you don't have discipline in any organization, it's like in a house, if you don't have discipline in your house, you find all of these social ills and problems. So I really don't care. You know what, I always say to myself, I come through life but once, all of us. I don't live my life to impress you or anybody else. I live my life to please myself, as long as I can serve the people of this country. I only fear my God. I fear no one. And that's why I go through life with a purpose, and the purpose is to serve my country in any capacity. I'm one of the few people who've had the opportunity to serve my country, like I'm serving the country now in a capacity as minister. It's for the people that I'm doing it. So I'm really not worried about all of those criticism.
Is that the reason why you left the PAC?
No. The PAC know why I left. You know what, I mean, I'm a fighter. I'm a born fighter. But if I get tired of fighting every day, and I told them, I said, you know what, this thing to say the PAC is the African people and the African people is the PAC, you don't even know where the people live, because you can't go there because you're fighting all the time. And Bishop Stanley Makgoba, you know, I mean, a very gracious man, and I will always respect him. You know, he understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm asking you this, Minister, or well, maybe in this instance, Ms. de Lille, because I just need to get some clarity in terms of you and your party. Right now, you are saying people should vote for good. But someone may say, you know, I've always believed in Ms. de Lille, what she stood for in PAC, but she left. She set up the ID matched with the DA, she became the DA, and then she fell out with the DA, she's got good now. So clearly, is it about the individual or is it about the principles?
It's about the principles. I've never changed my principles, and I will never do. To me, it's about the principles. When I started the Independent Democrats, I wanted to become the first woman in South Africa to start a political party, to contest national, provincial, and local government and win seats. I've achieved that. I've achieved that. Once I've achieved that, we then said it's better that we come together as opposition parties to build an alternative to the ruling party. We attempted that. It was COPE, UDM, DA, ID, all of us came together. But it was never really successful in the true sense of the word, because the other parties didn't have a mandate from their congresses. I had a mandate from the ID Congress to say, work together with other opposition parties so that you could build this alternative. Then when we now came together to build this alternative, it has led to the voter base of the DAs increasing substantially, because it then showed that this is what South Africans want. South Africans want the opposition parties to come together. Then what I didn't realize, that inside the heart and soul was this deep-seated hatred for people hankering, still going back to apartheid, hatred for those who fought and defeated apartheid. I never realized that there were so many of those inside who saw me. I was the only one with liberation struggle credentials there. And then, you know, you leave, but you don't leave your principles behind. So.
Yeah, I think you've partly answered the question I was going to ask, because I was struggling to understand someone who comes from, I would say, a leftist organization. I'm just going to characterize a leftist to a center-right. So how do you make the jump? But I think you've partly answered by saying you did not realize.
You know what, I laugh because nothing is static. you talk about left and the right and conservative and all of this and that. Ideology, when we were fighting for our liberation, ideology was the key. And then we attained our freedom after 1994. And then what emerged is the Constitution, one of the best in the world. And my ideology is based in that Constitution, especially the preamble. The preamble says, we recognize the imbalances of the past, and we recognize the people who fought against that. But now we are building a nation united in our diversity. And I just wish we can start moving on from that, because that is where the good party is in. I think, and we think, that we will fix South Africa with 4 justices.
Yeah.
We need to get spatial justice, environmental justice, economic justice, and social justice. Those are the 4 justices. And so going forward, as our country evolves, and there's a new generation that has come in, every 25 years you get a new generation. We're now 27 years. And so you need to adapt to your current environment. And I can tell you now, in the current environment, yes, there are some lefties, there are lots of right-wingers, but it doesn't really matter to local government, any of those ideologies. What matters is people want to have access to water, access to electricity. That's why, wherever I go in the country now, there are 2 issues that I have to deal with. People are very angry about the high water and high electricity prices. It's unaffordable. People now have to decide, do I buy food or do I get water or electricity?
Yeah.
And what is in this plan of good? What we are saying is that if given a chance to govern, what we will do is to remove the profit out of the price of water and electricity. Because municipalities buy electricity from Eskom. They then put a markup, a profit.
Yeah.
And over the years, it continued to rise and rise to an extent now that people can't afford water and electricity. So we will cut out that profit, and we will sell electricity and water for the price that you're buying it from the water boards and from Eskom.
Whilst you were the mayor here,
Yeah.
Ms. de Lille, so why were you not able to champion some of those things?
Oh, I did, indeed. Go look my record.
Did they become successful?
You know what? Very successful. Because all municipalities, metropolitans and municipalities receive a grant from national government.
Yeah.
It's called the equitable share. So what I did when I was the mayor of the city of Cape Town was to give 60 kiloliters of water free and 150 kilowatt electricity free. Now it is free to the poor and the indigent, but somebody still has to pay for it. So we use that equitable share money to pay for that, to give that free water and electricity to the poorest of the poor. Even during the time of the drought, the worst drought in 100 years, and we had to cover or protect the poor against the high water prices.
I think the DA normally touts Cape Town as the best run city, as where everything is very nice. As someone who's been to Khayelitsha, Mitchell's Plain, are you happy with conditions there?
You know, I can account for the 6 years when I was the mayor of the city of Cape Town. We received 4 clean audits. But you know, clean audit is also a moral obligation. I'm coming to answer your question.
Okay.
because it's a difference from, I left in 2018, it's now 2021, and I wanted to show you the difference.
Yep.
No, I'm not happy with the conditions, not only in Khayelitsha, but all over the city of Cape Town. What has happened is that those communities are sitting with piles, and we've got boxes full of water and electricity accounts that they can't afford to pay. You know what they're doing now? They're selling people's furniture. We sent an email to Mr. Blake in the city a few days ago, said, please, the lawyers is attached to the furniture, the people can't afford these high water bills. So I'm not happy with what's happening in Khayelitsha and all over the city of Cape Town.
My next question would be, did you lay the foundation which would have alleviated those difficulties? I mean, you only left about 3 years ago?
Yes.
3 years ago,
Yes.
so which is not a long time.
Yeah.
So clearly, if the foundation is sound, I'm sure they would still be benefiting from that.
The foundation was very sound, but they were removing it brick by brick. You know what I had to put in place as a foundation is urbanization. All cities all over the world, people are moving towards the cities. And you will see around the city of Cape Town, there are about 150 informal settlements. Now, I've got great respect for anybody who sits in the rural areas with nothing, no work opportunities, who said, I am going to get up and I'm going to move to the city to go and look for opportunities. So there are many, many informal settlements. So therefore, you could not continue to build the single RDP houses. If you wanted to accommodate more people in a small space of land, you had to go up into density. So the plan was to get all of these empty spaces in the city of Cape Town, 6 hectares, 7 hectares, and build density. Those were the 14 pieces of land that I've released. If they had built those 14 sites, you would have seen over 600,000 housing opportunities. So yes, the foundation was there. But, I mean, I can't stop people if they've changed.
Oh, yes, because I wanted to say, if obviously the foundation and the legacy has been left there, clearly people would still be benefiting. So, but I hear what you are saying in terms of, you basically are saying you were removed because those are the things that you were trying to do. Just to wrap up on this DA issue, do you think the DA is not acceptable to the leadership that may not have been groomed from within?
Just repeat that again.
I'm saying the DA.
Yeah.
Or maybe let me phrase it differently.
Yeah.
Do you think the DA is able to accommodate black leadership?
Yeah, you know what I say, the DA policy really is when it comes to black people or people of color. It's fine, you can vote for us, as long as you don't live with us. That's why they want to keep everybody out of the city. In terms of the leadership inside, everybody must decide for themselves, you know, if they want to be there and they want to be allowed themselves to be used as a coloring in exercise. You know, I respect all the leaders that are there, the black leaders, and as you can see, one by one, you know, the truth is coming out.
The country is going to the local government elections, that's why we're sitting here. And there's a lot of unhappiness in certain quarters, particularly at the governing party. You serve in the current administration of the governing party. So, as a person, are you happy with the current state of affairs of how the country is being run?
Sorry. You know what? We tend to generalize a lot. I think first of all we have to acknowledge a lot of things has changed since 1994. A lot more people have got access to water and electricity, even though they can't afford it even anymore today. But we must also acknowledge that we could have done better. There was big room for improvement in the past 26 years, 25 years. And what has held back the improvement or a higher level of performance of government? We all know it's corruption. Corruption steals from the poor. And it's a lot of billions of rands are being stolen that could have been used for the poor. Now, yes, we must deal with corruption. But, you know, corruption has got a face. And that face are people who are, lots of them, unqualified, not fit for purpose for the position. They are simply just put there to steal. So if we can clear that up, and we have to do it soon because the patience of the people is running out, we must improve. We must substantially improve service delivery.
I'll go back to my question.
Yeah.
In the government that we are serving yes. in now, the administration,
yes.
you've mentioned all of those things. In
yes.
that, are you happy sitting there with all those things that you've just mentioned?
But I think I'm sitting inside there.
No, I'm saying as part of the administration, currently you are part of the current administration.
Yes. Let me put it this way. In 1994, it started with our late Tata Madiba. And in terms, again, of the preamble of our constitution, wanting to build an inclusive South Africa, Tata Madiba had brought in a member of the opposition to serve in his cabinet. Not one, but two.
Yes. Yes.
President Thabo Mbeki continued with that. It was the IFP, and then it was AZAPU, it was the Freedom Front Plus, also served in cabinet. Then it was our late sister Zanella from the NFP. And now they've asked me to serve in the cabinet. And I've agreed because I can serve my country in any capacity. Yeah. Now, I have got the responsibility of a portfolio that the president asked me, one, to clean up, but secondly, very importantly, look after the infrastructure of our country. And when I deliver on that task and in my performance agreement, it benefits all the people of South Africa. And it's up to the president himself, who would sign performance agreements with all of us. He will make that judgment to say who is not performing and who is performing.
I think you've captured very
yeah.
well the issues there, but still the question I'm asking
yeah.
relates to you also as an individual, to say here is the government with all sorts of problems, yeah. corruption going up every year. You are there. Are you happy serving in that government, in that administration?
I'm happy to serve my country. I've got no problem. I've got no problem. I'm very, very happy to serve my country in any capacity.
When people say this government, this administration is corrupt to the core, we mention you too.
Oh, people know I'm not corrupt. I really don't know what is the point that you are getting at. I really, really don't know.
The point I'm trying to make, Ms.
Maybe just say it out straight.
I'll tell you.
I can understand.
I'll tell you because
yeah.
you are known as someone who is opposed to corruption, who is a serious corruption
yes.
Fighter.
Yeah.
But right now, some people would accuse this government of being corrupt to the core. You are there serving. So if we say this government is corrupt, we mention you too.
Now let me put it back to you. There's a lot of corruption in the SABC. What are you doing there? What are you doing there?
I'm not government.
No, that's the same. Corruption is corruption. And we must rule out corruption.
I'm not in the executive of the SABC.
Doesn't matter. We're talking about the country here. We're talking about SABC as part of government too.
But
SABC is a state-owned entity.
Yeah, but there are people charged who are at the executive authority who are running the SABC.
So you are just running around all the corruption.
Yeah.
You don't. Yes, you report on the corruption. Yes, that
you
is
are
your
part
duty.
of the. You are part of the executive, a very important branch of the state: executive, judiciary, and legislature.
Yes.
This branch is being branded corrupt. All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
No. You can no. I must also teach you a bit.
Sure.
There's a separate. A government consists of 3 arms of government.
Yes.
There's the judiciary, there's the executive, and there's parliament. Those are the 3 arms of government.
Yes.
And that one is holding the other to account. Now, if there's corruption, it must be reported, and I've got faith in our judiciary that they are independent enough to deal with it. The executive is there to execute all executive decisions. If there's a problem and there's corruption, the executive must act.
Yeah.
If there's a problem with corruption in parliament, parliament must act. And that is how government functions together. Yeah.
No, sure. Point taken. The other thing, Ms. de Lille, is I think you were the whistleblower back in 1999, if I'm correct, on the arms deal corruption.
Yeah.
And then you are one of the witnesses. But that case, at the moment, we are not sure what's going to happen, given that there are still issues relating to the former president. And
yes.
So what is your view right now, given what is happening? Do you think it should go ahead, or you feel perhaps the issues of medical situations around the former president be resolved first? What's your take?
Again, we must respect the independence of the judiciary. I think they are capable judges, whatever, and they are entitled to use their discretion in a judgment. And I will go with whatever the judgment of any judge on the previous President Jacob Zuma matter is. I can't speculate and say he's not sick or he is sick. I think it will be wrong. We need to respect the confidentiality between patient and doctor. And I know we're all impatient because, I blew the whistle on the 9th of September 1999. There were many delays in this court case. I was hopeful that earlier this year, when I went to Durban as the first witness in the trial, it was going to proceed. But it's now all in the hand of the judiciary to sort it out. I mean, I'm ready to, I know if they call me tomorrow, I'm ready to go.
Yes. No. The Good Party is contesting 5 provinces.
Yes.
But South Africa has 9 provinces.
Yes.
Why are you choosing only 5?
We're choosing 5 because we started the party 3 months before the 2019 elections. We participated in the elections and we got 70,000 votes, 2 members of parliament and 1 in the legislature. Then we continued to build branches and structures. And so far, when we made an assessment, we were happy that in 5 of the 9 provinces, we've made enough progress and we put enough structures in place to participate in those provinces. We will continue to build after this election because then the next election is in 2024. So we're participating in 6 metropolitans and also 45 municipalities. It's about just under 1,000 wards. But we also had to cut our cloth according to our size, It's very costly to run an election and to go for the first participation in local elections and try and do the whole country was just not going to be affordable and feasible for us. And that's why we opted for the 5 provinces.
Which municipalities or metros you are really hoping to snatch, or if you are not snatching them, at least be the kingmaker in?
No, we're not going in there even to be kingmakers. Talking about the issue of coalitions, we will go into coalitions with political parties. We will do it on a case-by-case basis, on a merit-by-merit basis. We've got nothing to measure out against, so this is the first time. So we will be just happy with growth in the 1,000 wards where we are participating, because to us it's a growth strategy to grow in this election and then take that growth further to 2024.
Let's say you get 49% here in Cape Town, and no other party wants to work with you. The DA is the only one willing to give you 2%.
2%.
Remember, you've got 49.
Yes.
No one else wants to work with
Yes.
you, but the DA has the 2%.
We've got conditions. And first of all, I can see already that we will say to any political party, not only just the DA, we are quite happy to also sit in opposition benches. We're not participating in the elections because we just want positions. But like I say, we want to get back into Cape Town because we've got unfinished business and we want to complete that work. So if it's between the DA and Good, and they say, will you work with the DA? The DA will say, no, they will not work with us. Because from their side, they'll say, no, we don't want to work with her. She just want to come and cause trouble here. And I will not say before the elections, because we have to consider after the elections. After the elections, we have to consider on merit and on our conditions. But we're going in to do our best and to get as many seats as possible.
Is there likelihood that you can work with the DA?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think they hate me with a passion. You
don't hate them?
I've moved on. I've moved on.
You don't hate them?
I've moved on. It's bygones be bygones.
So you don't hate them?
That's why I put my boxing gloves back on. I've moved on.
Yeah.
But they still, every second day, there's something that they're saying about me. I'm trying to move on and ignore them, but it's I think it's just part of their strategy too. I'm sure if you ask them, will they work with Good, they will tell you no.
But
Yeah.
if your principles somehow meet, you're still not going to be able to work together.
Well, my party must decide. My party executive must decide what we do, not me alone.
But you've gone on record to say they are blue liars.
They are blue liars because it's true. It's not me who says that, it's the court.
Are you not bitter at what they did to you? I heard you said you've moved on.
Yeah.
But given how you characterize them, are you not really bitter that they somehow found a way of chucking you out, in inverted commas?
I left on my own terms and in my own time, and I wanted to go.
But they were already charging
I think for me the sad part is that, and I warned Musi while I was there. I told Musi, these people see us as visitors here. We come and we go. You must be careful. But they use Musi. They skillfully, the laptop boys around him, laptop. They use Musi to go for me. And Musi came and he was vicious. And I warned him. I warned him. I said to you, you will be next.
What did he say when you warned him?
No, he thought that he was trying to negotiate a deal for me. I mean, he walked a footpath out to my house. He was almost there every second day. And then, Musi was very good in script. They were scripting him. So he would come with a script and ask me, do you agree with this condition? And I said, no, I don't agree with your conditions. And then he will leave. And then I don't talk to them again. I go on with my work. And then they say, we want to talk to you again. I said, I don't want to talk to you. Yes. They say, can you get us somebody that could talk on your behalf to us? I said, yes. I call up Ellen Zella. I say, Zella, can you represent me? can you represent me with Musi? Musi almost freaked out. He went to somebody in KZN and said, you know what? Please tell Patricia not to use Helen, because Helen is the previous leader. They're going to think I'm weak. I did it deliberately. So no.
Have you spoken to Musi since he also left in the manner in which he did?
No, we still have a number of defamation cases that's outstanding against Musi and the DA. There was a date set now in September, but I think there's something wrong. They didn't allocate a judge. So there's still some defamation cases that's outstanding. No, I saw him the other night on a debate for the first time.
Oh, no, I think that's really understandable. Yeah. It's understandable. Well, just to then conclude this debate, it's been really lovely. Where do you hope to make the biggest impact in 15 seconds in this election? In 15 seconds.
Where?
Where do you hope in the country? Where you think you'll make the biggest impact?
Sure. I'm Sangoma, I can't talk for the voters. But what I can say to you, we would like to have pockets of support all over the country. You know, here in Cape Town, I would like to have a big impact, and certainly it's maybe possible, but it doesn't exclude the rest of the country.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dille.
Thank you, Zwandile.
Well, there you had it. That was the leader of Good Party, Ms. Patricia de Lille, really speaking about a number of issues, saying her party is new, and of course, she wants to fix this country. She has experience. She's been the mayor here before, so she has some experience to deal with it. And of course, we couldn't not speak about the past. She was the mayor of this place under the DA. Francis?
Thank you, Zwandile, for another interesting discussion. And this is part of a range of discussions with the various political parties and their leaders that we're bringing to you on The Full View. We take a short break and then the news will continue.